Hello and welcome. You may wonder how we know that Archangel Gabriel is related to this Cancer new moon. If you are wondering that, then you're going to find out. I'm a galactic astrologer. I like to call myself a galactic anchor because I anchor in the energies from the stars that the planets, as they're going around, interact with. So the stars are just another layer, and there's actually four royal stars from Mesopotamia, like over 3,000 years ago, right? And they had the four royal stars, watchers of the skies in different directions. And they were all in fixed stars back then. Now, all of those particular stars related to an archangel is in a mutable sign, right on time for the kinds of things we're going through right now on this planet. Huge amounts of change, huge amounts of opening to be able to pull in some of these planets and dwarf planets that we have not seen traditionally over the last few thousand years. So, guess what? There's a star right on Archangel Gabriel, and that star's name is Fomalhaut. And guess where the new moon is? The exact degree of Fomalhaut. Wow. But okay, the Fomalhaut is not in Cancer. Those of you who know all about this already, true. But there is a trine, right? Because this full moon is at 4 degrees and Fomalhaut is at 4 degrees in the sign of Pisces. So two water signs getting together and giving us support and nurturing during this time. So I have the chart of two things. I actually have two charts for you today. Um, I have a chart for what we just went through um, with the solstice, and I'll tell you a little bit about the solstice. And then I have a chart for the moon that's happening on the 25th, and that's in Cancer. The sun moved into Cancer, so that's what makes this Cancer season. That makes us connect to making sure that we can nourish ourselves so that we can be of service to other people during this intense change. If we chase out and try to tell everybody that we're going to help them, or we think that that's where our value comes from and that's the only place, the age of thinking that you had to be self-sacrificing in order to help another person is over. We are taking care of ourselves first so that we can take care of other people better. Um, when you get on an airplane, they tell you take with the oxygen mask falls, put it on your own face first before you try to help anyone else adjust their oxygen masks. If you are not oxygenated, you're gonna faint, and nobody is going to make it out of that plane. So nobody that you're sitting next to, like, you get it. So my name is Renee Varnador, and like I said, I'm a galactic anchor for spiritual trailblazers who are connecting to the wisdom within them, that there's always been there, that they've always had. This is soul level wisdom. The soul's going to move on and do something else after it leaves this body that I am doing my best to take care of, which is where the nurturing comes in with the Cancer new moon. So you can see this little arrow anchoring in the different stars, Fomalhaut, the moon, and the sun, which are conjunct. In fact, let me show you that. Here we go. This was the solstice on the 20th. I'm filming this on June 21st. And guess what? There was an archangel related to this chart also, and that is Regulus right here at the very top of this particular chart. Now, depending on where you live, this where the ascendant was is going to change. So don't worry about this. But interesting that for me, living in Playas de Rosarito, which is near San Diego, California, Regulus is right here at 0 degrees Virgo, and Mars is at 2 degrees. And so they're not close, close, close. On the 19th, Mars was, and the 18th, Mars was actually closer to the star Regulus. So maybe 18th, 19th, 20th, pay attention to any things that you were doing, taking action on, because you might have been receiving some help from Archangel Raphael, who is really related to this star Regulus. And so who is Archangel Raphael? Raphael is like the healer, okay? And so he is known for healing, and he is known for having a green emerald cloak. So if right now you want to imagine that you are putting on a green velvet emerald green cloak and seeing if you can tune into that energy of healing that Archangel Raphael brings. Archangel Raphael also works with the brow chakra and helps us with our clairvoyance. A lot of times we receive information, but that information comes in under an illusion or in a delusion, especially if it's near Neptune. So there's all kinds of things that you have to use discernment about when you're using your intuition and you're working with the archangels, or you're working with galactic astrology. If you know the tarot, that's a great way to develop your intuition. That's where I started back in 1984. And Archangel Raphael is related to the Lover's card number 6 in the tarot. So there's this sense of the yin and the yang energies, the masculine and feminine energies coming into union within ourselves. And you can see that there is on this card that says healing through challenge. I don't know about you, but there's a lot of challenge going on in the world right now. We've got a lot of natural um, earthquakes and volcanoes. We've had much more activity than usual. The earth is kind of like stretching and changing and about ready to move away from how she's been learning and been responding and been interacting with all of us on the earth. And so that's one way things are being challenged. And because there's so much energy, this intense energy that is helping the earth in her process, it's the same energy that helps human beings in their process of growth. Sometimes if the soul's trying to knock on our door, it'll knock real soft first and we don't pay attention. Eventually it just brings us a conflict to help us with that intensity, focus in on developing more, stepping into more and more of our soulful self, so that we can begin living on a more spiritual platform and a more spiritual awareness. So Archangel Raphael right here helping us with our vertical connection as well as our horizontal connection with this light here. So thank you, Archangel Raphael. And so that was the 18th and 19th, and the 20th, the Mars was conjunct this particular star that's related to Archangel Raphael. But let's talk about the new moon in Cancer that is happening in a few days. It's happening on June 25th, 2025 at 3:31 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So figure out for your time zone when that is for you. Why? Because for me, if I get awakened in the middle of the night, it might be Archangel Gabriel. I would definitely like to hear from her. If I don't hear from her at 3:30 in the morning, then I will meditate or journal when I wake up so that I can bring in anything I might have missed that came in the middle of the night. So that's sometimes these things will store for you for a couple of days, but you really want to catch as close to the time that it happens as possible. So the sun and the moon are conjunct Jupiter, which makes this even stronger. So even if you usually don't feel it when archangel stars come in or other really amazing stars come in to help us and support us, okay, because there's support surrounding us all the time. We do not have to do this alone. We can ask for help. That's what happens with the angels. You ask for help because they are unconditionally loving and we have free will and are running our own lives. They are there to help us, not live life for us and make our choices for us. No one can be making your choices for you. I learned the hard way that if I let other people make my choices, I get run over. And I live a much better life when I take responsibility for myself, my life, my choices, and all of the things I do. Then it's my learning rather than, "Ugh, why did I listen to that person?" Okay, so it's important to realize that the angels are just an ask away. And then if you ask and nothing happens, maybe you're expecting something to happen that's really not on your dance card. Maybe your soul is like, "Oh, dude, not that again." Yeah, you want to be great and wonderful and you famous and have lots of money in the way that you want to have the money come to you. But I'm trying to bring you some abundance here in other ways, and that will lead you into the things that you need right now. So Archangel Gabriel would it being able to receive the information, being able to receive the light, being able to receive the messenger, because Archangel Gabriel is the messenger. Okay. She was he Some people call Archangel Gabriel a he. That's fine. You can do that. Angels are androgynous. They don't have gender. Okay. But they are very helpful. So Archangel Gabriel was the archangel messenger of God who came down and told Mary of Nazareth that she was going to give birth to a very special child. And she was really excited because she and her mom, Anna, had been working on that. And so that was like, yay, woohoo. So we've got this was her and her mother, Anna, working on that is found in Edgar Casey's writings and things like that. If you want to believe that, great. If you don't, great. If you believe the other story, wonderful. You know, this is the one that I think makes the most sense to me. You're welcome to your own opinion. You don't have to agree with me. So, okay. This card says freeing the threads of connection. So that's kind of very interesting. So a lot of times we get into tangles with other people or other parts of ourselves. And as we slowly take the threads that are keeping us stuck in old patterns, we slowly pull on the threads to release the tangle so that we can receive the information from Archangel Gabriel. And that really helps us and it frees us up because now, without this tangle constantly, in our way as we try to move through life and do new things, we actually get to come and to the moment with the new moon in Cancer at 4 degrees opposite the star Fomalhaut, or I'm sorry, not opposite, trine. There, I couldn't find it because it's a trine. So there's Fomalhaut right there at the top of the chart where I live, and 4 degrees, and there's the new moon There's the moon right there. There's the sun right where this, if you can't see my cursor, it's right where this big light is on the bottom of the chart. And then this sign right here is Jupiter, which just expands this coming together of the sun and the moon in Cancer, where we're learning to nurture ourselves first. We're learning to fill our own cup and let the cup overflow with what we have. If we have the ability to nurture, if we have the ability to love unconditionally, woohoo, yahoo, we need that. If we have the ability to resolve our polarities and our stuckness in different ideas and dogmas and stuff, all of that stuff is getting resolved right now, so that we are going to more both and space as we move forward into these energies that the earth is preparing for us. So we've got a lot of other things happening at this new moon. We've got this, the sun and the moon are also sextile this Mars. And they're also Cancer and Aquarius. Okay, there's a quincunx between Pluto and the sun and moon and Jupiter. Okay, so that can be difficult and intense. And so if you're feeling it on the 25th, if you're feeling that intensity, then you call on the support that's in the chart. That's one thing I always teach in my classes and teach to my clients who come for readings, is there's always support for you in the chart as you're going through your lessons. That we set up the chart just to go, okay, here's your lessons. Okay, here's your support for your lessons. And you really have to look further out for that support sometimes. If you're just stuck in a Jupiter Saturn square or something, which is what's happening in the sky right now, you're just like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Archangel Gabriel is right there to say, hey, please help me. I'm just going to clear my mind of expectations and receive what you have to give me. So blessings on that. And then if you do receive, and you've been helped by Archangel Gabriel, and something starts to happen that's like it's for your benefit, and it's a big yes, then something that you want, then you say, thank you, Archangel Gabriel, when you realize you're getting something you asked for, and there it is. Thank you, Archangel Gabriel. So the process of working with the angels is ask, receive, thank you. Because when you're thankful and grateful, you get more of the good stuff that you like. But how else are they supposed to know that's what you wanted? Maybe they thought you wanted fear again. And no, that wasn't it. So here we go. Sun and moon conjunct Jupiter. Sun and moon sextile Mars. Sun and moon trine Fomalhaut. Archangel Gabriel star. We talked about that. Mars opposite Fomalhaut. There's Mars right there at 4 degrees opposite Fomalhaut. So there is action that you can take on the 25th. So in your meditation, ask yourself, what can I do? What baby step in my daily life can I do every single day to help bring in what Archangel Gabriel is trying to give me based on what I asked for? Wow. Okay. So there's also a minor trine that's going to be in the sky for this year. And that is because Saturn and Neptune just moved into Aries. And they are the midpoint between Pluto in Aquarius, okay, and Jupiter that just moved into Cancer, Jupiter's also helping us with this nurturing. So he's really helping us expand our ability to nurture. But I went to here, but I really meant to go here to this trine of Pluto. And this is Sedna, which is a dwarf planet that is our spiritual destiny. And you can see that Uranus is at 29 degrees, about to cross the sign border between Taurus and into Gemini. Okay. And then there will be a really beautiful trine between Uranus and Pluto in two different air signs. So we're going to get smart over the next couple of years here as Pluto and Uranus dance together. So, and we're starting out with this sextiles and trines of all of these outer planets, and we might not be used to this much change, this much flow, these many people coming into our lives helping us. That's what happens in a sextile or trines. Just, oh, I decided to do this. And there was so much flow between Gemini and Aquarius that it just felt so good. All the ideas were just flowing, and I could journal for 2 hours. That's kind of what's been happening for me lately. I don't know how it's coming through for you, but it depends on your chart how it comes through, and it depends on that unique gift that you are here to bring. And if you don't know yet what your purpose is, what you brought to earth at this time of huge transition, then I have an invitation for you. Okay. So let's see. Um, this is what's conjunct at this new moon. And this is what I do, what I teach. I teach archangel classes. If you are interested in the archangel aspect, I teach archangel classes. And there's one archangel class that you can buy off my website. I'll link my website link below. But there is also a Patreon group that I have called Intuitives, and we meet at the new moon, just before the new moon and just before the full moon, around that time. And we ask the moon phase questions for the new moon and for the full moon. Now, the new moon is for us, we're meeting on Mondays for all of these. So Monday, June 3rd at noon Pacific Daylight Time, Intuitives is going to be meeting. Now, Intuitives is not an expensive membership to join. A lot of people charge $39 for their memberships. This membership has an angel number 1111, $11.11 US dollars. Okay. And right now is a good time to join because, especially if you like working with archangels, because um, there is a 7-day free trial. So if you join right away, if you join before June 23rd, you can join us live and do what we usually do, which is talk even more about, which is talk a little bit about the chart of the moon. Okay. We also, I'll jump over here for a second. We talk about the Sabian symbols, images that relate to the degree of the moon that we're on. And I'll talk more about that in the class. And talk about this Jupiter Saturn square. So, one of the things we're going to discuss is these dates of this Jupiter Saturn cycle and how this is showing up for each of us in our lives. Because once you start connecting the dots of your cycles, then you start learning what the cycles are about and what it is that you are actually learning from that cycle. What you set yourself up to learn when you chose your chart, stepped into the personality of your chart, and now stepping into the soulful self coming through, how that can come through for you more easily, and you can receive the wisdom and guidance that is there waiting for you to tap into. So I hold space for all of that. I don't tell you what your purpose is, although it's obvious in your chart. I just point out a couple things and ask questions so that you're the one discovering what it is that you're here to do. And then I hold space as we bring in the sun and the moon and the Archangel Gabriel star. We're going to bring all of them into the meditation. We do these deep, deep meditations, and people come out and they share what they received from Archangel Gabriel, from the sun and the moon, from the star from Mars. And then you also talk about what baby step, what little action step that Mars is there holding for us that we can start doing in our daily life to bring what we discover in spirit into our daily life, where we are able to manifest and express it. Our soul is going to be starting to learn learn its lessons differently, learn its lessons based on we can create and manifest from within our own heart, as opposed to the suffering that a lot of us went through and the traumas a lot of us went through as we were learning the laws of cause and effect. So if you know that there's a spiritual law of cause and effect, and you have to take responsibility for your own actions and choices, then you're ready to jump in and find out how to change up your lessons so that you're learning to create from within instead. For me, I'm like all about it because it's much, much, much easier to learn our lessons this way. But you kind of have to understand cause and effect before you can graduate. Some people call that the graduation from third density to fourth density, which is what the Earth's doing right now. Some people have fancy names for this process and all this other stuff. Great. Believe it however you want to believe it. Just know that we're in a huge pile of change. And if you want help navigating through that, our group Intuitives will help with that. You'll be able to share live with me, and in a private group that not everybody on YouTube can see. We just have this small 6 people group right now. So all of these things are things we're going to be talking about. We also have our next new moon ceremony is going to be on July 21st, which you might want to jump into because that is Leo, and I'm really good at the Leo. This is really close to the beginning of the Lionsgate. So we're going to. And Lionsgate isn't really an astrological thing, but it's an astrological period of when the sun's in Leo. So we've got also a full moon ceremony coming up on July 7th. If you're hearing this video later and we've already passed the 25th, then you can jump in. Same thing, 7-day free trial. If you jump in before July 7th, you can join us for the full moon ceremony meditation on what is being illuminated within us. So here we go. Those are possibilities for you. I will put the link to find out more about the Patreon group in the show notes. So my website and the Patreon group are going to be in there. And if you need to ask me some questions about this after you read that information, my email address is also in the show notes. And you can email me and I'll email you back with any questions that you have about jumping in to a membership that you can cancel at any time. It's a monthly $11.11 US a month, and you can cancel at any time. And there's a free part with a whole bunch of videos and handouts on it. And you can change back to that if you want, and change forward anytime from there into the Intuitives group. So love and blessings. I would love to see you. Where is it? Here is the one I'm promoting right now. We are meeting in a couple of days on June 23rd, Monday. And I will send you, if you join Intuitives before, that day before, I'm going to check at 11 a.m. Pacific time on the 23rd. I'm going to check to see if anybody joined. And if so, I'll send you the Zoom link to join us live on Zoom. So love, 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 love and blessings to all of you. And see you next time. Bye-bye.